today about the Madden '07 soundtrack rather. It's just
Goated.
some of those songs just stick with you forever. The greatest, man. The
I still
greatest. I forget
have
who the
there's a sense of, like, I stop everything what I'm doing when I'm, like, I hear a FIFA song play, like, while I'm
oh,
shopping,
yes.
or it's on the radio, or I'm scrolling through TikTok, and I'm like, "Oh my god, that's so awesome." I love FIFA
Mhm.
music. You
Mhm.
could
It
make oh
is it
boy, I
is
think I just dropped my phone.
I mean, they
You could
you
make a
know, they
whole
had
f you could make a whole playlist based off of that.
I forget what his name was. They had a rapper on there that's you literally would only know if he was from Cleveland. But like those old EA games just introduced you to the most random people in it, random artists ever, and it was great. It was different. But anyways, let's get into the college soccer conversation a little bit here, Ryan. This was breaking news yesterday. Getting a full year for college soccer, completely changing around the schedule to more mirror what the professional schedule is. And I think it's good on many fronts, but wanted to get your opinion here first.
Yeah, so let's just lay down the things that are let's just lay down the rule, not the rules, but the changes to everything. This only applies to the men's game. This does not apply to the women's game. The quote or an article from ESPN says that there hasn't even been any movement on the schedule change at all. So for the foreseeable future, the women's game will not change. It will stay the remainder. For the men's side, this goes into effect the 2027 2028 school year. So this year, again, it'll be the same as normal. But here are just a couple of things that are going to happen. Teams will be allowed to play 18 matches from late August until the Saturday before Thanksgiving, and up to 10 matches from mid-February until the start of the NCAA tournament. Obviously, the NCAA tournament will now start in the spring. It doesn't give the exact time, but I imagine probably April, May. That's when it is going to start. They will most likely be playing one game a week instead of the 2 games a week. Again, doesn't matter how many games you play, but that is kind of just the rules and kind of the changes that will happen. A nice quote from Jamie Clark, who has been on the network before, University of Washington national champion head coach. This is a new era for college soccer. Hopefully, through the new calendar, we can build some positive momentum and create more excitement for our sport. And I think a couple things to just mention on this. No, I don't think this is going to be like all of a sudden, oh, Dave, NHL '04 soundtrack was one of the best. I didn't play NHL
Yeah,
'04. Did you play NHL
I
'04?
played those early NHL games. Yeah, it's very, very good. Very, very, very
This
good.
guy Fabian just hating. He goes, honestly, hope to God Arsenal loses 5-0 to PSG. Yeah, that's not happening. That's just not happening. But my initial
Yeah.
thoughts of this, no, this does not all of a sudden create USA Soccer is going to win the World Cup in 2030, let alone be a contender. No, that doesn't do that at all. What this does now is I think it will start to raise our floor a little bit. This isn't going to turn these college soccer players into the next era of Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo. That's not going to happen at all. But these players that go into college, it automatically just hurts their development, automatically hurts their growth. Why? Because you are playing from August to, if you are very good, you get to play in November, late into October. You're playing roughly around 3 months. You're roughly playing what the high school schedule is like. And that is August to, if you're very good, late October. But, and then vertical, that's a great point as well. No, but it matches what the MLS is going to do also. This is starting to match what the European model kind of is, at least with the schedule, is you're playing the same way. Look, when you're a college athlete, a college soccer player, after those first 3 months, you're almost like a true college student like myself. You just get to play. You just get to do a little bit more scrimmages in
A NARP?
the spring months. You probably get to go out a little bit more and enjoy yourself like I did many weekends. But anyway, nowadays college teams probably play a couple scrimmages, maybe 3-4 scrimmages in the spring. But that's not true. That's not a true pressure environment. You're just kind of going out there, get some fitness in, get your touches in. There's no true pressure in these games at all. But then you go to the fall season, you're hurting the players, I think, in terms of health as well, because you're playing twice a week. You're playing Wednesday and then Saturday. Now these players are going to get fully rested. They're going to get fully prepared. Yeah, you could probably mix in a couple of midweek games in there That's why we love midweek action. But the MAC schedule when I was doing all these games were Thursday and Sunday. That hurts a little bit in between. You only get 48 hours of rest truly to get yourselves ready for the Sunday game. Now you might play maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe you'll play a Saturday, Sunday, but this is going to help that. But now you get these players playing almost year round. They're playing in high pressure situations almost year round. Again, you're going to get that
Mhm.
break in between from Thanksgiving to about mid-February because of the weather. Obviously, in Midwest, you're not going to be playing soccer games outdoors in January. That's just stupid. You might as well just not even play the game of soccer during those months, to be honest with you. Then you also have the finals in there, the Christmas break, whatever. So it keeps kind of that Bundesliga schedule a little bit because they also have that January break, the 2-3 week break, which I think every league should ultimately implement, kind of like an all-star break, but a little bit longer. But there are no all-star games. But I like this move. It's a move in the right direction for U.S. soccer. I think that since 2018, I think USA Soccer has started to wake up a little bit and realize that
Yeah.
our way is not the best way. And college soccer going to, at least on the men's side, the college soccer going to this full-ish semester to semester calendar is a move in the right direction. Again, it's not going to make us World Cup contenders or anything like that, but it's a move in the right direction. And I absolutely like it. I really like it because USL2, why is these leagues so popular, USL2, USLW, is because the college players need somewhere to play. They don't get a full length of season to play. So, hey, this is very good
Yeah.
for all these players, and I think it's a move that I really, really like.
Well, so now I got to wonder what happens to the USL. I mean, does it get younger? Do all of a sudden, you have less college players
Potentially,
playing?
but you're still
Maybe
going to get
more
the
of a
players.
right. You're still going to get players. You're still going to get talented players, but more of a younger, I guess, tone to the USL if college is playing all year long. But yeah, to your point, this doesn't like make us the World Cup favorites here in a month just because we made this decision, right? Like, but it is an important one in terms of creating a more pro-ready system through college soccer. The reason why college soccer isn't really much of a focus is because of just how odd it was in terms of scheduling, how much of a dead sprint it is. They're not playing for very long. It's really hard to identify and scout and do all of those things when that's how it's laid out. That's why the majority of it is done in the USL and the USL Championship and in the MLS and these other places. So I didn't realize at first, but as we kind of went, we talked more about college soccer, even with the coaches we've had on this show. We've got an understanding as to just how like their hands are tied behind their back. I mean, you mentioned the workload during the regular season. Let's not even talk about that. Let's start before that. When we go back to the preseason, you have a 10-day preseason. 10 days. Like, how is that enough to actually
No.
put anything together to be able to go out and compete? Like, it is, and in the dead of the August heat, too. I mean, they are leading into these games a lot, and a lot of them we ask them, like, hey, how are preparations going? You're leading up for game one, and
I don't know.
some of them are like, they're here. They're going to be out there. We'll see how it goes. Like that has the vibe of a preseason game or a scrimmage. When you're like, all right, well, we're gonna test out our strengths against this other team. That should not be a regular season thing where you're going into game one. Like we've only had 10 days to get ready for this season, and now we got to go out and compete. And probably for these smaller schools, go out and compete against someone who's far better than they are. So it extends that out, which is great. The workload is far less to your point. And again, talking about player safety and health and all those things, I think that matters. I mean, only playing one game a week is really important. More closely mirrors the pro game, which makes it easier for professional clubs. And I think this is important. Makes it easier for professional clubs to be able to scout and look at these players genuinely that are playing in the college game. The reason why I've ever talked down on college had nothing to do with the players that were in it. It had everything to do with the way it was structured in the US. And so that's why this decision is so, so important. The other thing that I wanted to add in, though, too, is that I think it is important, and we talked about this before, it's not really competing with the likes of college football in the fall anymore.
Just
I'm
about to
not
mention that.
saying that I'm not saying that college soccer is now going to become this massively popular thing amongst more fans are going to, or it's going to even compete with college football. Competing is not the thing. It doesn't have to overlap with college football though because when you do that, what's the one thing we pay attention to in the fall? It's not baseball, right? This is the reason why I think baseball being as long as it is problematic, because once you get to September, people check out. People want to watch football now. They want to watch college football. They want to watch pro football, right? This is when you get into the fall, American football is the focus. And so if you're able to stretch this college soccer season out, you are no longer, again, directly competing with that of college football. And here's the important part, right? If you only have one match a week, you promote the hell out of that. Like, you can really, really kind of build something there. Not saying it's going to change everything, but that's an important component of this. And it was one of the first things we mentioned when this first came about. And so, really, and I don't think there's a negative to this move, to move it to a full year. I really don't. Now, in terms of the women's game, listen, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? Like,
Hey, there's a reason.
there doesn't really seem to be anything broken when it comes to the women's side of the game. So there really isn't a need to fix that. However, the men's game, it was certainly 100% needed. And if anything, Ryan, I think maybe this will get more players to want to play in college soccer. And that matters. I want to see that happen. I want to see the school pride. I want to see a Michigan State matchup in a really fun one at the same time. Like, it's almost kind of a sad state of affairs that we don't really care much about men's college soccer in this country when it comes to pro scouting and development and other things. Not to say that players don't come from college, but I think it might inspire some more kids to be like, yeah, I'll go play for North Carolina or Duke or wherever.
Because college soccer is not the ultimate pathway into professional soccer.
No.
Obviously, there's players that
not.
have done this, but if you look at the environments of an academy system and a college soccer environment, it's two totally different. Because you go to play college, you also get the college experience, you get the distractions, you get the going out all the time. You don't get to just focus on the game. Whereas at academy, you're just kind of eat, sleep, soccer. That's really about it. That's really all you get to do. I mean, sure, you probably have some nights out and stuff, but for the most part, college soccer, I mean, everyone knows. Like, I've gone out to bars and I see the CMU women's soccer team just hanging out. I see the CMU football team just hanging out. And I do want to get to these couple of points. Dave says, how many of the college players play football? He means soccer at the start of the school year, then change to another sport for the remainder of the season. That doesn't really happen in college. It's difficult to play multiple college sports. To be honest,
that's more of a high school thing.
Yeah,
it's more of a high school thing.
That's more of a high school thing.
Yeah.
But Vertical Gambit mentions, because I was kind of curious, about the female side. Why aren't they going to this system? He goes, I think they should do this with the women's side for all the reasons you just said, but most of the women coaches I have heard talked about it do not want this. Females. And I go, why is that? Females do college more for education and fields that need labs and internships. Think of nursing. They use spring to do those types of things. Listen to the Inside the College Soccer that has 3 Division I coaches for the women game. They talk about it often. All right, looks like we're going to have to get some women Division I soccer coaches on the show here. Maybe we'll have to get some men's coaches on the show here in the next upcoming weeks. Vertical, that's a good point, too. Maybe they run track in the spring. But, again, track's not a super time-consuming thing. You're really just running your 1 or 2 events that are, I mean, you're just running.
I mean, I'd be interested to say, I mean, there's a lot of guys go to college for an education. I mean, if someone's an engineer and they're also playing soccer, I'm guessing that's an extreme amount of time. And also you got to consider exams and all those other things. I don't think it has to do with women more go to college for the education versus men. I think that's a pretty weird line to draw. But anyways, it's certainly something that we can talk about. I think
you kind of look at basketball and football and baseball, the way that those, and
some
maybe
of those,
hockey
yes,
as well. That
you're right.
Those are college soccer in America for the men's side. This is specifically for the men's side. Doesn't necessarily get you into the pro game. It doesn't, because you could be a first-round draft pick in the MLS Super Draft or whatever it is. Doesn't ever mean you're going to sniff the field, because MLS teams have gone closer to the academies, and rightfully so. They should. I think academy systems are definitely the way to go, because you go to the academy to be a professional soccer player. You might go to college soccer to get a little bit of a college experience. Yeah, you get to play at a high Division I level. You get to say that there's still good competition at Division I level. I'm not knocking it at all. But there is a difference from the men's side, from academies to the college game. There are two completely different things on the men's side. Women's side, it's
Mm-hmm.
different. Like you mentioned, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The women's side doesn't need
Mm-hmm.
fixing. It doesn't need retooling. The men's side and the other side needs 100% retooling. And
Yeah.
I just think this is a right direction for USA Soccer. Not saying we're going to win a World Cup or contend for one, but I'm just saying this is a move in the right direction for our development. I think this ultimately is just going to raise our soccer nation's floor, rather, for
Yeah.
USA Soccer. And I think it's a move
And
that we desperately needed. It's a little long overdue, to be completely honest with you. But hey, we finally got there, and it's only going to help that.
yeah, no, I agree, and that is exactly the point. All this kind of plays in together, right? We talked about the pay to play a little bit earlier. Now we're talking about college soccer. It all has to do with, again, the men's side of the game. How do we just raise our floor as a soccer playing country? You got some more comments to work in before we take a break?
Yeah, Fabian, is academy better than college for the MLS? I would say so. I would say so. I mean, we just showed 3 examples here today: Xavier Gazzo, Kevin Sullivan, and
Yep.
Julian Hall. That doesn't even mention all the other prospects that have been playing for the New York Red Bulls. Those are all academy graduates. They got into the first team through the academies at the age of 18. Kevin Sullivan being 16. They all
Yep.
got through the academy. None of them played college soccer. I mean, Pulisic didn't play college. McKennie, Adams. I mean, really no one on the U.S. men's national team first team outside of Matt Turner, I think, has played. Maybe Matt Freese played college soccer. Richards didn't. I don't think Tim Ream played college soccer, but for the most part, all the U.S. men's national team first team players did not play college soccer. That used to be something like Jordan Morris, Stanford. That used to be something that was mentioned all the time in the broadcasts. Vertical Gambit. I know how that sounds, but I'm telling you, listen to the podcast. Also listen to Discover College Soccer, where they interview college coaches. They talk about it. It is a different mentality. All right, I'll have to take your word for it.
It
I
could
will
be.
definitely
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
tune in.
I mean,
I definitely
yeah.
think that I definitely think we might have to get some college coaches on the show now next week. We'll have to maybe go to our maybe the people that we normally go to. Maybe we'll have to get Lewis Robinson, Western Michigan. That's a good one to get the women's perspective of things. We'll definitely have to get Lewis Robinson back on the podcast. Maybe we can even get him tomorrow if we're not going to get all the USL2 coaches in. But we will definitely be getting some college coaches for sure. Definitely some on the men's side. Definitely some on the women's side that we need to get on the show.
He was at the West Michigan Whitecaps a few weeks ago.
I remember that text message.
I get a text from him. I'm like, yeah, I'm here. So it's funny to see him jumping around. But no, we'll definitely get that conversation in. But like I said, I don't. It's rare that a decision like this is made, and we're not like, oh, let's weigh the positives and the negatives. No, it's all positive in my mind. I don't really think there's a bad takeaway from this. So good on the NCAA, good on college soccer to make that move, and we'll see how it pans out for them. But let's take a break here on the National Soccer Network. When we come back, talk about the Pistons. Kevin, you can take your victory lap when we come back. We'll talk about that. Are you looking? Oh, yeah. Pretty much.
That's it. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, pretty much. We'll also talk briefly about, at least we're not Minnesota, right? It could be worse.
Minnesota!
What's up? Minnesota! They were up 3-0 yesterday against the Avs. Avs come back to win the series, so Minnesota gets bounced out of the playoffs.
Hey, have a good day, Vertical. He says, gotta bounce. Have a great day. You too, have a great day, Vertical. Appreciate you hopping in the chat. And